be something else, but she
Yeah,
caught herself.
I bet she would never come up with all an English and call.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Sorry. I'm just really proud of myself for remembering my reading glasses this evening, that's all. It's a good meeting when I start being able to actually see the agenda.
We don't have to do one of these.
My arms are sort of long enough, but only if you use the right font, so. Here, I have a spare.
Rent-free.
Rent-free.
All right.
After change, you know.
You wouldn't happen to have the warrant figures, would you?
Did it up or still up in the mailbox? They're in there. Unless all the keys work in one.
Unlikely.
See?
Unlikely.
You can get in that mailbox. That's where I dropped them. Unless you can fit your hand in there. My hand's pretty small. Look at that.
Nothing is safe when you're around here.
Hello. I'll be right back.
You want water? You good? You guys ready?
Ready?
Sure.
Sarah? Beth, you good? Sarah? Steve, we good?
Yep, you're recording.
Good evening. Welcome to the Select Board meeting Tuesday, August 19th at 7:01. Before we start, I just wanted to point out what a great job our highway department is doing with our highway superintendent, Kyle. Kyle is an exceptional employee. He had surgery on Thursday. He was back to work. He's working with crutches. The guy is just top notch. He could have taken the time and not come in. He just wants to be out there with his guys, and though he's not doing much of the manual labor right now, he's one heck of an employee. So I wanted to take the time to point that out. So we'll go on to the Pledge of Allegiance and then get started. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the first agenda item is the Cemetery Paving Committee. Again, I intend to recuse myself. Beth, will you take over? The reason...
Actually, Rich.
Oh, you have the warrants?
We do have
Okay.
the warrants, yes.
All right, so go ahead with that, Ron.
All right. In fact, we have several warrants. We have, first one is a payroll warrant. It's FY 2601B payroll in the amount of $200. And then we have a withholding warrant, FY26-02, in the amount of $74,344.81. Then we have accounts payable warrant, FY26-04, in the amount of $173,572.93. And we also have another payroll warrant, FY26-04, in the amount of $179,198.73. And lastly, we have another withholding warrant, FY26-04, in the amount of $71,892.24.
All right, so again, I'm going to recuse myself for the Cemetery Paving Committee, knowing that my son is going to do some work and sell the town some materials for the job. So Beth, would you mind taking over for that?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, so, and actually, Mr. Eaton, would you care to come up? We read the report actually kind of live last meeting and went through it. I don't know if you had any questions. Sarah.
No question.
I didn't know if you wanted to speak to any of it, or do you want us to just debate it based off the reading?
Everybody's read it?
Yes.
If you spare me a couple of minutes, I think this committee met, and I think we had three focuses. One is we wanted to make sure we're using the best construction practices for this type of cemetery and the underlying conditions of the cemetery. And for that, we relied on the highway department and the outside contractors, and they did a great job. Secondly, we wanted to be assured that we were following the guidelines of the preservation plan in that National Historic Site, and we have done that. And third, I think we have an obligation to the taxpayers that we do this in the most efficient way possible. So I think we've accomplished that. We said we'd get back to the select board in 3 months, and we're here now. We would like to recommend to the select board that if they approve this tonight, that we disband the cemetery paving committee. I've talked to the highway department. They will take ownership of the project. They're the project managers. They will take ownership of it. Kyle and Scott both support that. I will be available personally if they need any background information, but essentially it's their responsibility now. And so we've passed on that responsibility to them.
Well, the charter was to make the recommendation about how to handle it, correct? So the charter for the committee was to make the recommendation, right? And to give basically the roadmap and the requirements. So that sounds consistent with what the original intent was.
Some people said we should follow the money, but there's no reason for us as a committee to be involved in the construction of it. We feel very comfortable with the highway department's plan and how they're going to do it.
Okay. I did have one question
Yep.
regarding the quotes. Or are you all set with what
Yeah,
you were
sure,
planning
go
on
ahead.
saying? So the one question I had, just because it does kind of put us in a somewhat awkward position relative to approving the quotes. Who handled getting the quotes on the millings?
The highway department.
Highway department did, okay. And do you happen to know, did they specify in the quote request regarding screened versus unscreened material?
I'm sure they did, because from the day one, we said we had to have screened material.
Okay.
And I personally talked to Bond. I got a verbal quote from them, but not a final quote from them. But they said they do not screen their millings.
They don't screen their millings?
And the other person, according to the highway department, do not screen millings.
Okay.
They just take raw millings that's taken out of Route 9 or whatever, put it in a pile, like we have at the town. We have some.
We have millings, yeah.
But if you use unscreened millings, you're going to have to dress the surface. And when they did the temporary road on Road 4, because it was in such bad shape, for the first load, we put in unscreened millings, and the highway department had to come down and dress it up.
Got it.
Because sometimes you get boulders like this in it,
Got it. Okay.
so.
Sarah, did you have any questions?
No, no questions.
Okay.
I'd just like to make a couple of other comments. One is, although it's not written in here, the Brookfield Highway Department estimates that their workload will be 3 to 4 days down there. So none of that is calculated in our cost.
In the cost?
Right.
Okay.
The $42,000 has got a 20% contingency in it. So we feel comfortable, hopefully, that we'll be under 40,000.
Okay, and let's see here, in the plan, let's see here. Do we have a summary of how many loads in square feet that this addresses?
For what, millings?
Page 4.
Both millings and chip sealing. So
Yeah,
I see,
page
okay,
4.
so we've got the area, we've got the square feet.
Yeah, and I think on page 4, you'll probably see the breakdown.
Yep.
And the millings is going to be the toughest one to calculate because we used as a guideline how much we used on Road 4.
But you
And
may
so
use
we
more or less.
extrapolated from
Yeah.
what we used on Road 4 for that 500 feet, and from that, we extrapolated. But we've also put in 20% contingency on that as well.
Okay. And then do you have a I know that highway's pretty busy. Did Kyle, and I meant to ask him when I talked to him today, and I forgot to ask him because I knew this was on the agenda. Do you know
he's,
where in the window he thinks this might fit?
Depending on when you guys approve it, he's going to move ahead. And he said he's very comfortable that he can get it done by October 15th. The contractor that they've selected said that he's got us on the schedule, and he can do it. It's critical that it gets done sooner than later because the millings is ideal if they're soft. Because when they
Oh,
put
so if it's hot, if it's warmer, it'll be better because the millings are soft.
And the reason why we're using millings, Sarah, is rather than asphalt, because millings are porous. And so when they put that liquid sealer on it, it goes into the porosity of the screening material. Then they put a layer of chip on top of it, then they come back and they roll it. Then,
No, it's good. It's a different topic. Never mind.
okay,
Keep going.
okay. And then they put another roll of liquid asphalt and
Okay.
another load of stone. So it's 2 layers on
So
it.
2 layers on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it maintain any of the porosity once you put the layer of asphalt in there, or no, with the chip seal?
No, once you got the liquid in there,
Yeah.
nothing should grow through it or anything
Right,
like
right.
that.
Okay.
It becomes solid. It's essentially liquid tar that they use. And then the stone, the chip seal, sinks into the liquid tar. I had a chip seal driveway put on mine on asphalt, and it's held up for 25 years.
Right. And then my last question would be, do you know if Pioneer Stone Seals has anybody else? It sounds like in order for this process to work, you have to have the screened millings, right? Do they have a contractor that they typically use for millings when they are doing a job soup to nuts? Do we know
The
that?
chip seal people?
Yeah.
No, the chip seal, the Pioneer
Yeah.
does not do chip
Base
sealing.
work.
Base work.
Okay.
There is one person bid, and you'll see one of those contractors, they offered a bid to do the whole job. for 90-some thousand, $90,000. They would have done the millings.
The millings.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay,
Yeah.
as well. Okay.
Right, so they would have been charging us the same for the millings as we're looking to get the whole project done for at this
Yeah.
point. Okay. Okay. Is there a motion?
Could I just say one other thing first? Two things I'd like to say. One, I'd like to extend an appreciation to Mr. Carmen, who took meticulous minutes and got them out in a matter of hours, not days. And we were very diligent about sharing those minutes and having conversations with the cemetery commission, so they were kept abreast of what we're doing as we went along. And the other thing I'd like to add to what Richard Safey said, the highway department, we feel very comfortable about how they work.
Yep.
Their work on this.
Yeah, I drove down Gay Road yesterday afternoon coming back up from Sturbridge, and the volume of work completed over the last 4 to 6 weeks is just humbling
Yeah.
for the size of the crew and equipment they have and what have you. So, yeah, for sure.
And one other sidebar, when you walk down to the highway department, there's a lot of smiles and happy faces.
Yep. Yep. So apparently hard work is not detrimental to the soul. So there you go.
All right, thank you for your time.
Motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to accept the recommendation from the cemetery paving committee.
Okay, and just to reiterate, the recommendation referred to that in the cemetery paving committee was to use, that's right here, Pioneer Stone Seals for the chip seal and Chafee Landscaping as the milling contractor. So I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
And somebody will notify the highway department that they have the go-ahead, or should we?
I'll take care of that tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank
Actually,
you.
maybe even tonight.
So,
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Kermit.
thank you. All right,
All
I guess
right.
we turn the meeting back over to you.
All right, item number 2, sign the waiver of Lake Road first right of refusal. I believe this was under a previous select board, but you were on, Beth, back then. It had something to do with when Terry bought the property. Do you recall that?
This specific property, I don't recall whether it came before us or not.
I do have a little bit of background information.
Yeah, sure.
Back in December, December of '23, I should say, the select board did formally vote to not exercise the right of first refusal. However, it was just a motion and a vote, and it was included in minutes. When Karen sent those approved minutes along to the lawyer didn't think that was
Sufficient.
formal enough. So as a result, we have the actual document here that, if approved tonight, would be sent to the lawyer, and they'd be able to proceed with their transaction.
Yeah, I think we had like 2 or 3 that day
Okay.
that we voted, if I remember correctly. That's why I don't remember the specific property. Or within like a time frame of maybe 6 weeks, we had several properties. And you all are familiar with
I am.
what's going on with this?
I am.
You are as well?
No, but I'm not even on the signature, so it's between the two of you. They took me off, so.
Oh, why'd they take you off?
I don't know, me and Karen had a conversation beforehand, so it's all set, so I'm not gonna partake in the conversation.
Okay.
So I don't know if we need to ratify it with another vote, but if you want to make a motion.
So I'll
Beth?
make a motion that we ratify the vote of 12/21/23, where the select board opted to waive the town's right of first refusal for the 57 Lake Road property that was leaving was it chapter 61, I think?
Chapter, yeah, 61.
61.
61B.
Yep.
So I'll second that.
All right.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
pass it down for me.
Did you sign a copy?
Oh, yeah, he signed.
Why don't we both sign a copy, just in case they need multiple originals? Give both of them to them.
All right. Item number 3, treasurer candidate interviews. Mr. Schlossstein, how are you tonight?
Very well, thank you.
Do you mind coming up?
Not at all.
So I want to make a full disclosure that I know Mr. Schlossstein from his previous job over in Warren as the treasurer, so I'm going to let you guys start. If you have any questions, I know the man is competent, and but I did have a couple questions about procedurally going forward. So you want to start, Beth?
Sure. Mr. Schlotzstein, welcome.
Thank you, nice to be here tonight.
So why don't we just start fundamentally with introductions-ish, right? It sounds like
Sure.
you know Mr.
Yeah,
Chiffy.
yeah.
Right, and typically for an interview board, the least we can do is introduce ourselves. And then you can tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're seeking this role, okay?
Sure.
So, Beth Coughlin, I've been involved in Brookfield town stuff since, I think it's going on like 13 years now, which the irony of that is not lost on me. And I spent some time with our advisory committee, which is the equivalent of a finance committee, for about, I think, 3 or 4 years. And then eventually, this is my fifth year on the Board of Selectmen. So in my real life, I listen to all the ones and zeros that come off the F-135 engine and tell people what kind of maintenance to do, so.
The F-135 engine.
Yes.
Which is,
It's, you've ever heard of the Joint Strike Fighter? It's one of the military engines. So
okay, well, thanks
it
for
goes
that.
fast and blows things up. That's pretty much what it is.
Very nice. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And I'm Sarah Campbell. I'm the newest selectman. And I'm an executive assistant in another town nearby.
Well, nice to meet you, Sarah.
We're going to let you take it away, Bill. You sell
Yeah,
yourself.
I guess my first question
Oh.
is, yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Sorry, Rich.
That's all right.
Well, I'm a certified public accountant who lives in Warren, and other than a few years as a teenager, I've lived there all my life. I was a treasurer in Warren for 26 years. While I was that, I worked in a public accounting practice in Palmer and in Sturbridge, because the Warren position was only about 30 hours a week. So I have a family, young family, so I've always worked a lot. I've done, like I said, at 26 years. Richard mentioned that we knew each other, as Richard would often have public business that involved the town. So I came to know him in a general way as a construction and a real estate professional. In 2015, with kids in college, I decided that at my point in life that I would wanted to do something more from a finance director's perspective, because I'd been doing essentially that level of work for Warren. But I thought that getting a position in another municipality might require that I demonstrate my ability to manage a general ledger. So I went up to Winchendon and became their town accountant and stayed there for a few years. And at the end, they made me their finance director. So I did three years in the capacity of closings and tax rates, et cetera, for that community, which was a great turnaround story. If you knew anything about Winchendon's background, I was curious by why were they always turning over town accountants up there. They had a new town manager, and I learned that they were under state oversight, that it had a lot of deficit problems, and it was a very challenging position, very fulfilling position. I left there after about 3 years, worked in a law firm in Worcester, employed my tax skills in their estate trust department, and then took a position up in Pepperell as their town accountant. I was also made finance director there. I served as treasurer collector for a little over a year in the 5 years that I was there. So I managed a team of about 5 people. And retired from that last May. While I was doing that, I've been serving as the district treasurer at the Spencer East Brookfield school system. So I've been doing that for 10 years. And yeah, so I'm a pensioner, and I continue to maintain my CPA license. I'm interested in working on a part-time basis and being of service in the public sector, which I have a wealth of experience in. And Brookfield is very close to home and close to heart, and in the Quabog plantation, and so that's why I'm here tonight. I'm sure I can be of service. The position description seemed something that would be in my wheelhouse, and something really cool to do.
So I should have introduced you to Lori Barkus. Lori is our town accountant presently, and I asked her to sit in this evening too. So if and when we hire a new treasurer, they'll work hand in hand, obviously, with the accountant. So Lori's input is very important to us
Lori.
as well. So, okay. We currently use the VADAR system for our accounting. How familiar are you with that? With VADAR?
In a general way, most people use VADAR west of 495 these days, and probably even east. They made a lot of inroads in the program, but in the market. I've not used it, but many of my peers do.
So if we were to hire you, are you comfortable with learning that software and getting yourself up to speed with it?
Certainly,
Okay.
yeah. Certainly.
Okay.
I use Excel and treasury functions that I've always been engaged in. It's not a general ledger you're asking me to manage, so
So
I didn't know a lot of things, whenever I started a job, right? I didn't know Munis, and I didn't know AUC, but I went up to Winchendon and I used Munis. I went to Pepperell and I used AUC. And
So we have a couple different possibilities when we hire for this position. One of them is with HR and one of them is without. And we do have some interviews coming with some HR people as well. But in speaking to our current town treasurer, that's a big part of this job right now.
Sure.
How comfortable are you, if you get the job, how comfortable are you with the HR position portion, or are you just interested in the treasurer portion?
I'm not comfortable in a 34-hour-a-week position.
Okay.
I also have a question about that. You said that you're retired. Are you retired privately, or are you retired from Worcester County retirement system?
The retirement, public retirement.
Okay, because if it's public retirement, then I think the limitation is what, something like 900 hours?
Is it
1,200.
Yeah.
1,200, is it 1,200?
Okay,
So
that's
a
12 point
30-something hour a week position, public position is not what I've come here for tonight or interested in.
Yeah, so you were looking.
On a
just
temporary
treasurer.
basis until you found somebody, right,
Okay.
in the human resources role. I'm very comfortable with that. I did it in Warren for 26 years.
Okay.
The group insurance and
Yeah, I mean,
all the group benefits and the retirement enrollments and the retirement rules. And That's all.
Yeah, just to be
Part
clear.
of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, just to be clear, Rich, just so that you have it in the back of your head, he'd actually be limited to
Nope, I
22
understand
hours
that.
a week,
Yep,
not 34. 22 hours a week, not 34.
okay.
And the posting is for 24?
Yeah, but I mean,
24.
but I mean, it's spit
Yeah,
distance.
but, yeah,
I
it was
mean-
posted for 24.
That could be tweaked and,
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
close enough from a standpoint of, like, his availability is close
just
enough.
not the
but it-
34.
But it's definitely
Clearly
not the
not the
34. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Beth?
Of course,
Okay.
so usually this is 2 questions, but I'll give you the courtesy of it being a 2-part question, so you don't have to deal with it. Give us the thing that you're most proud of in that very storied career relative to something that you've accomplished associated preferably with municipal finance, and tell us about a time when something went sideways and how would you handle it now?
I really enjoyed my time in Warren. It was extended over 26 years. Got involved with a lot of different things. There were so many things to being a municipal treasurer that I really loved. And doing it in my hometown was an added benefit. I have very good writing communication skills. And I remember a time back in 2004 when the town was really up against it. Its taxes were becoming very burdensome on a town that was not very wealthy. And we had a couple school projects going at the time. Quabog Regional was being renovated, and we had finished Warren Elementary School a few years prior. And Warren Elementary was the responsibility of Warren exclusively, and Quabog Regional was the responsibility of Warren West Brookfield pro rata. And the problem was Warren Elementary came in, I'm afraid this might be a little long-winded of a story, but
okay.
To give you adequate background, Warren Elementary was done about $1 million, back $10 million project back in, 1990, right? So
that was big. That was even bigger money back then.
Well, it was big money, but we got a good reimbursement from the state. Mm-hmm. But it was a big impact on the property taxpayer, and it had come in about $1 million under. Mm. But the grant and the bonds, because this is quite a while ago, was financed in such a way, and it was under the old school building authority. Well, it wasn't the authority. The school Department of Education, school building administration's rules, where they paid you every year on your cherry sheet.
Yep.
In the amount of your debt service.
Correct. Yep.
But our debt service was done with estimated figures of a higher construction project, a lot of temporary loans and stuff. So we were getting a higher amount than we knew we would eventually get. And we would have to settle up with the state. And every year that we did the refinancing of the bonds, we'd said this will be the year where the state drastically cuts our reimbursement.
Your reimbursement.
Because we figured they would eventually get around to doing the construction audit. See, the grant back in that day was based on an estimate of your project and not the actual costs. But they never got around to doing the audit. The story was there was one person in a room that had a stack of audits this big, which kind of led them to change
the whole process.
The whole process.
Yeah.
So in 2004, they finally got around to adjusting our reimbursement at the same time where we were structuring the Quabog Regional renovation to ramp up. and it was a
Perfect storm.
so-called perfect storm for the taxpayer. It was also a time where we had a large manufacturer in West Warren. It was our, I'd say, top 2 taxpayer.
Okay.
Okay? And they had sold the business to a group of management employees a few years prior. And they formed it as a limited partnership. They had the general partner was a corporation. Okay? So they thought they were going to be able to beat the personal property tax. Okay? And they were manufactured, but they had large inventory and equipment, manufacturing equipment. But they weren't a corporation. They were a general partnership. So we were really leaning on them heavy for local property tax. And I don't know how many lawyers and accountants got sued on their end over that organization, but the next year they said, hey, we're a corporation now, so we don't expect to be paying $360,000 of personal property tax because of a $20 million inventory and manufacturing equipment at an $18 mill rate. That's $360K in addition to their real estate tax. So we lost $360,000 from the tax base
Overnight.
in 2004. But with Proposition 2.5, you lose it from the base, but you don't lose it from the levy limit. Mm-hmm. It becomes exempt, but your levy limit, when the year where we got them as a limited partnership, our new growth skyrocketed. So what happens is that we lose that base. That tax levy gets shifted amongst the other bases. So between that and the 2 school construction financings, the property tax on the residential, the homeowners was unbelievable. I had the opportunity to, and at this time, when there was a thing called excess debt service, which was a form of state aid that they would distribute because there were certain limits under ed reform that communities had to pony up a certain amount based on their wealth ability. And if you met the minimum, if you were meeting the minimum requirement and had excess growth, and that impacted the local required contribution as well, they would give you credit if you were paying debt service in an amount that exceeded a certain threshold. It's called excess debt. And we did that year because of the perfect storm of the school financings. The problem was in 2004 they took that away. It used to be 50%. In 2003 it was 50% of the excess debt they would give you a credit toward your compulsory ed financing. And they took that away, which added to the burden. So I was able to write, they said, we have what was called, you might be familiar with the term, pothole funds, which was called foundation reserve funds, for if you had some excuse or some anomaly in your finances, you could apply for a special award from the Department of Education from the foundation reserve budget. It's up to $200,000. So I went on to explain the perfect storm and the fact that we were losing the excess debt and the fact that we were very generous with our local school funding, but it was just created, the taxes were very burdensome, and they gave us a grant. And I put that whole case together over a weekend because I became aware of it very late. The administrative secretary, said there's this opportunity for, and I'm like,
it's due Monday.
Exactly. And it ended up awarding us quite a bit of money for that. I was very proud of that. But I did things like that in Warren for a lot of years, and it was good. It's satisfying. My father was in public service, and he suggested I pursue a career in this when I got my accounting degree, and I haven't been disappointed. As far as things I wish went better, my last position up north was very challenging, managing 5 people. The whole finance department turned over when I got there in 19. We had a couple of retirements. We brought in people who didn't have a breadth of municipal accounting experience or municipal backgrounds. I had to manage them, including an assistant accountant who I hired and was very bright, but she just didn't have a lot of longevity. So the management of that team was difficult for me. It was outside of my wheelhouse. And I had to install, I was the treasurer collector, I also had to install collection software. Our vendor basically gave us 15 months notice that they weren't going to be our vendor, which provided the subsidiary ledgers of the taxes receivable. So we needed a new product. And of course, being the director, I was responsible for implementing that. So I had a choice of 2. One, Vadar was considered, but it wouldn't integrate with the general ledger. So we went with AUC, which is I don't say antiquated. It's an old style enterprise accounting system product, but they had a viable property tax thing. It just required a lot more hands-on work by the municipality, which used to be outsourced to the vendor that was quitting on us. So that was a challenging year, but it's all been a good ride.
Fair enough.
And I'm not done yet.
Thank you for sharing it. And you're not done yet, or you're hoping not to be done yet.
No,
So-
I'm not done.
All right.
How about you, Sarah? Do you have any questions?
No, no questions.
Lori, do you have
Yeah,
any
Lori, you
questions?
have questions?
I guess my only thing would just be the Vadar, because everything we do for deposits for the treasurer's office is in Vadar. The collections from the collectors, obviously we have a standalone collector. Her collections come in Vadar, they're sent to the treasurer, so that'll be done through Vadar. The 22 hours a week can probably be done without the HR portion. Our payroll is cumbersome. You know, as I think you just said, Warren was similar. We're standalone for our elementary school, so we're responsible for those employees. We don't regionalize till the middle school. So our average payroll is about 120 to 150 employees, depending on whether it's a stipend payroll or not. But we have about 60 call them town employees, and about 65 to 70 school employees that we pay every pay period. Taking the benefits out will alleviate some of it, but just the payroll alone. We use Harper's for all of that, so that does help. And the school sends over their payroll, but it is not imported. Everything is hand typed.
You dropped the warrant, the payroll warrant?
I do, yes. Yeah, the treasurer enters everything into Harper's that we balance, and then I enter the payroll warrant.
Is there a reason why we don't upload or have them submitted in a format that's compatible with Harper's?
They just do not. I talked to them, and they won't.
Really?
The same issue in Holland, they don't. Their software could be done, but it is extra work for central office. Where we've gone through, in both towns, and it is a district problem, they have gone through multiple business managers. So it wasn't something that could be pushed at this time.
Let me know a day that you're in so you can educate me on that, because I'd like to at least take a run at it with Deb and whoever her new business manager is.
Yeah, that's the problem, it's not
I know, but sometimes you can leverage the,
I've tried.
okay.
Trust me, I've tried. And it's been a few years. I've tried. It's not important.
Okay,
Yeah, so we're hand typing, well, the treasurer is hand typing on a every other week basis, 120 people.
okay.
So it takes us about 6 hours to do the payroll every other week. So we do that every other Thursday. We cut checks every other Tuesday.
We pay on Tuesday?
The AP checks. Payroll itself goes out on Wednesday.
How about you, Bill? Do you have any questions for us?
Where's the incumbent treasurer today?
She's still working.
Yep, she's staying.
She's not done until early September.
Early September. So there would
She
be
was
opportunity,
hoping- she
no,
was
that wouldn't
hoping
be
to
much
do
of a
it.
transition period
Well,
then.
she was hoping for a little bit, and I think she would be willing to,
Stay on a
speaking
little
to her
longer.
today, she wants to hand off a real smooth transition. So I think she would be very agreeable to coming a little more if need be.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, our cash is balanced. We were hoping to close out 25 before she left. That's probably not going to happen. We have some grants that are outstanding, but our books are balanced for 25. We're just not submitting anything because we're waiting on some grant money to come in, but she's already moved into July. She uses an Excel cash book that has been used here for multiple years.
Mhm.
Cash is balanced and reconciled completely. We don't have any variances, and we just finished our 24 audit and got that back in July.
Who audits the town?
What was that?
Who audits the town?
Tom Scanlon.
Okay, so cash management is done with Excel? In
Yes.
Excel, yeah, okay, that's what I'm familiar with.
Yep.
It's the receipts and the postings of the types of revenues, or the cash receipts book, which is Vadar based. Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, any capital projects that are in the hopper for summer renewals or?
We have long-term debt, we took out 2 years ago. Two projects are rolled into one. One of them was excluded, which is our police station. The other one we rolled a fire truck into it. So we have, I think it's a 15-year note.
So it's termed out?
Yeah, it's the police station, we did the 10 years on a ban. Unfortunately, the town was in some finance issues, so we kept pulling the ban until we couldn't anymore, and were able to get long-term finally 2 years ago. We rolled our fire truck in with that. As far as financing anything else, we don't really have anything else in the works right now.
Okay. So receivables, taxes receivables, tax title in particular.
We have about 500,000 sitting out there. We did an auction in
4.
23.
I think it was 22.
Was it 22?
I think it was 22.
I did 2 towns right after. the-
Yeah, I think it was 22. I think it's going on, 23?
No, 23.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It was 2 years
All right.
ago this August,
Yeah,
right?
so we did an auction,
A lien auction or a property auction?
an actual
Property auction.
We do not sell our liens here, we never have. So we have about 500,000, I think, in open tax title that's kind of sitting
Stale.
in various stages of doneness, waiting to be foreclosed. We've kind of put everything off as of right now. Other than that, our receivables are balanced and up to date. We write off.
But you have a
10 years.
list, you have a list of tax liens receivable and agrees with the ledger. There's no variances on the receivables with the collector. Treasurer doesn't really collect anything, it doesn't handle any committed receivables, it sounds like.
No, just the tax title and the foreclosure.
Okay.
And we don't have anyone currently on a payment plan, so there's really nothing coming in right
I don't know, that's kind of it. Yeah, my concern would be going through the payroll. One or two opportunities to see that process. That's the most important one to everybody.
It's a fair statement.
Yeah.
Two things you don't mess with,
I've
they're
been
paying
using, I've been a customer
vacation.
of Harper's payroll service since 1996 in one form or other. So shouldn't have any problems getting a lot of hand-holding too once Sharon has moved on, so.
Yeah, and we have everyone's rates, deductions, everything's set up in there. We're about to roll out employee forward with automated timesheets. We're just finishing up that process with Harper's. So that'll integrate everyone's timesheets with our payroll system. So it'll be slightly different, the newest version of Harper's. We're just waiting for the last few tweaks and then.
So we're in, what are we in Millennium now, or?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's what we were doing up in Pepperell when I last was involved. We had the timesheets and we were using the Millennium product.
Yeah.
And considering Pay Forward, I think it's called, yeah. Never made that migration. But I'm open to that.
Will the pay forward potentially alleviate the manual entry?
A little bit, but not for the school. The school didn't sign off on it. The union contract, they don't have to do it. But
Okay.
they're all gonna do it.
Yeah, yes.
All right, well, we had one other applicant that bailed out on us for tonight. We are going to interview him more than likely next Thursday. Or is it this Thursday?
This Thursday.
This Thursday. So we won't keep you waiting long. We're going to make a decision so that hopefully the transition happens while Sharon is still here.
Right.
And it's not going to be much that she'll be here, but at least
Sure.
1 or 2 days. So Ron will get back to you and let you
Well, I'm
know
flexible and immediately available, so.
Okay.
I'm very glad to be here tonight, and hopefully, we can make it something happen.
Sure. All right.
Thank
So
you for
yeah, if you
coming.
have any questions, don't, hesitate to reach out to Ron.
You the man.
Yeah.
All right, that's all right. Ruby Aponte? I asked you, no? Must be like Smith or something. I know a couple of accountants named Aponte. I asked them on the phone, and I says, oh, well, if they're using her, I can always call Ruby Aponte. She's the client service manager. I've known her for 30 years. Aponte? Wait a minute. No, okay.
I might have some rich cousins out there.
Well, she
There
does
you go.
very well, so. All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Hey,
for
thanks a
coming
lot.
in, and
Yeah, thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. It was a pleasure, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening.
All right. So that wraps it up for our interviews, right?
Yes.
So based on that, Lori, did you want to add anything? Are you good with?
I'm good.
Okay.
Ron gave me the schedule for the rest of it, so I will
Okay.
plan on being here on Thursday as well.
Great,
Okay.
thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you very much for coming in.
I will see you on Thursday.
And then, so that's it for our interviews. We did not have good luck with the big turnout tonight, but, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this session, and we are going to go into executive session under exemption 3.
Okay, Mr.
Ron?
Chair. So I move that we enter executive session under exemption 3 to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Or Coughlin, aye. Sorry, it's a roll call vote.
Yep.
Sarah
Chafee, aye.
Sarah Campbell, aye.
And so can I get a motion
And-
to adjourn this
No, you don't need it.
We don't
So-
need one to.
Right, I
okay.
move that we entered executive
Okay.
session, that we won't
All right.
convene into open, and I'm sorry, and I didn't finish my thing, so we're going to have to revote it, is that, and not to reconvene in
Okay.
open session.
Sarah seconds that.
Second.
And
Yeah.
all in favor?
Coughlin, aye.
Chafee, aye.
Campbell, aye.
You threw me off because I needed you to say I so declare.
I know, he
I'm
didn't.
sorry about that.
I was
All right.
rolling and
I
it's like,
know.